I'm a 30-year-old woman, and for as long as I can remember, my life has been pretty stable. I come from a financially comfortable background. My parents owned a successful business, and when they passed away, I inherited it. That business has allowed me to live a life without worrying about money. I've always been smart about finances, too. I have advisors who've helped guide me through everything. So, when I met my husband 5 years ago, money wasn't something I ever expected to cause problems. I was working at a tech company in a high-paying executive position when I met him. He's 32 now, but back then we were both pretty immersed in our careers. He was working in middle management at the same company, and from the start, he was charming and ambitious. We clicked right away. He had big dreams of starting his own business one day, and I loved that about him. I admired his drive, and it felt like we were on the same page about life, goals, and everything in between. At least that's what I thought. From the very beginning of our relationship, I made it clear that we should keep our finances separate. This wasn't something I just came up with on my own. My financial advisors had recommended it, and it made sense to me. I didn't want money to complicate things. He seemed okay with it at first, but looking back, I realized that might have been the first sign of trouble. A few months into dating, he started making little comments about how weird it felt that I earned more than him. At the time, I brushed it off. I didn't think it was a big deal. After all, I wasn't the kind of person to make it an issue, and I didn't think he was either. But the comments kept coming, subtly at first. Then they turned into full-on complaints. He'd say things like, "It's hard being the guy in the relationship when you make so much more." I still didn't take it too seriously. I figured he just needed time to adjust. 2 years into dating, everything changed. He lost his job because of company-wide layoffs. I remember feeling so bad for him. He had always been the ambitious, go-getter type, and this seemed to really shake him. I tried to be supportive. I told him it wasn't his fault and that he'd bounce back. He promised me he would. At first, I didn't mind covering more of the expenses. I mean, it was temporary, right? Or so I thought. As time went on, though, it started to feel less temporary. He wasn't finding another job, but he wasn't really trying that hard either. He'd talk about his big plans to start a business, but nothing ever seemed to materialize. Meanwhile, I was paying for more and more rent, vacations, dinners out. He contributed almost nothing financially, but he always had a reason for why his big break was just around the corner. Then, out of nowhere, he proposed. Despite everything, I said yes. I loved him, and I believed in him. I thought things would get better once we were married. The idea of a prenup came up briefly, but he brushed it aside so quickly that I didn't push the issue. I was in love, and it felt like we didn't need to worry about something like that. Looking back, I wish I had listened to my gut. After we got married, things got worse. His business ideas became more inconsistent and half-baked. He'd spend days working on these projects that never seemed to go anywhere. Meanwhile, I was still the one supporting us financially. He was more than comfortable with that. In fact, he seemed to be enjoying it, living a lifestyle funded entirely by me while doing the bare minimum to contribute. Every time I'd ask him of his business ventures, he'd have some excuse for why they hadn't succeeded yet. It was always someone else's fault, or there was some obstacle he just couldn't overcome. A year into the marriage, I discovered something that completely shattered my trust. I found out he had been taking out loans in my name to fund his failing ventures. I only realized it when I came across a pile of credit card statements that didn't make sense. He had lied to me for months. When I confronted him, he broke down. He told me he didn't know how to handle being the poor one in the relationship, and that taking the loans was his way of trying to prove himself. I was devastated. It wasn't just the money, it was the lies. I had been there for him, supported him, and this was how he repaid